And welcome to episode 7 of the Full Count with your hosts Jose and Grant. And to start off on a somber note, we have to report on the passing of very great sports commentator Craig Stager. If you don't know who he was, he was a basketball commentator for. He actually did commentate a lot of sports, but he mostly did basketball for TNT, and he died. I want to say it was Thursday, I believe. He died at 65 of leukemia.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Huh?
It was Thursday.
Yeah.
That it passed through.
Yeah. He passed away from leukemia. So why don't we take a minute and a moment of silence? Okay. So next up on the docket, well, I guess we're on
NFL.
Yeah, week 15 of the NFL. So Grant, I'll let you take over for a minute.
All right. Well, we've got one game that has already been finished, and I'm pretty sure that happened this Thursday anyway. Seattle versus LA. The Seattle Seahawks tear apart the LA Rams 24-3. And then right now, what's going on right now? Today on Saturday. Right now, it's in the second quarter. The New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. The New York Jets are ahead 7-6 over the Miami Dolphins. Now, here are the games that we have. The first game for Sunday is the Indianapolis Colts versus the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, Indy is at 6-7 for the year, and the Minnesota Vikings are 7-6. Right now, the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, for the point differential is at -5. Minnesota Vikings for the point differential for them is at +33. I'm gonna have to go with Minnesota winning that game.
I'm gonna go Minnesota too, even though they started hot and got into a bit of a losing skid. I think they can still pull it out.
Next game is the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. The New England Patriots are obviously away with the Denver Broncos at home. Denver right now is at +54 for point differential, but with them being at home, they're 4-2. The Patriots, on the other hand, are +119 for point differential, and right now on the road they're 6-0. I think this is just my guess. I'm going with the New England Patriots beating the Denver Broncos.
I'm gonna go with New England too. I mean, they have come on strong since Brady came back from his suspension. Even without him, they were doing pretty good.
They've been doing very well this year. Very, very well. Of course, the next game, I don't know what to say about this one. Well, for one team anyway, is the Green Bay Packers, who are 7-6 against the Chicago Bears, who are 3-10. Right now, obviously, it's a divisional rivalry game. Two of those teams in the NFC North right now. Green Bay right now in the division is 2-1. The Bears are 2-2. Point differential for the Packers +21. Bears, on the other hand, is at -69. My guess, Green Bay Packers over the Chicago Bears.
You know, you're probably gonna think why I'm crazy for this, but given tomorrow may be probably one of the coldest days we've had around here, if the Bears can contain Aaron Rodgers and contain him like in the pocket and get something going, I'm going the Bears for an upset.
It could happen. That is true. Right now, they're at 500 at home, so it's possible. And the Packers are 2-4. I think why the Packers, maybe has a chance. They're having the point differential at +21, while the Bears on the other hand are at -69. That doesn't bode well. And right now, the Bears are 2-2 in the division. It's the winning record 2-1. But it's possible the Bears could win also.
On Fox for this bad season. You got to really fault that offense.
That is true. That is very true. I think the Bears may have a chance, but I think it's a very, very slim one. Packers are going to have to make a lot of mistakes for the Bears to win. Next game is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 2-11, versus the first-place team of the AFC South, the Houston Texans. Right now, the Houston Texans, at a point differential of -45. Minus 45, yeesh. And the Jacksonville Jaguars at a minus 98 point differential. Jeez, who do I pick on this one to win? 7-6, Houston Texans at minus 45 for point differential, or minus 98 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have lost 8 straight games, won at least one game. My prediction, Houston Texans, since they're 4-0 in the division.
I'm going with Houston, too, just for that reason. And it's probably because the AFC South is so bad this season.
They've not been doing quite so hot this year. Maybe next year. Next is the Cleveland Browns against the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland Browns, the worst team in the NFL right now this year, 0-13. Yeesh. And then against the Buffalo Bills, who are 6-7 now of the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills with a point differential plus 24. And the Cleveland Browns at a minus 168 point differential. Yeesh. Well, I think my guess is going with the Bills on that one.
I'm going with the Bills as a blowout. I mean, I think I actually heard a story that that the Bills were giving out free tickets to anyone who wanted to help clean the field, I guess.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I guess, and they couldn't even get rid of those tickets too. It's like, oh, you want free tickets? Like, you just gotta clean the field. They're like, no, watch the Browns suffer.
I'm very surprised by that, because usually NFL teams don't do that. But hey, I think that's a good, very kind of good gesture for people clean out the fields, give them free tickets to come to the Bills game. I think that's perfectly cool. I think there's a lot of Buffalo Bills fans that would be very appreciative of that. But that's my opinion anyway. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 5-8 against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 7-6. Baltimore Ravens right now in second place of the AFC North. And the Philadelphia Eagles, who, if I'm not mistaken, yes, are in last place of the NFC East. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are at point differential plus 18, while on the other hand, the Baltimore Ravens are at plus 42 with their point differential. Baltimore Ravens have lost at least one game. Philadelphia Eagles have lost 4. Baltimore is at home. They're 5-2. And on the road, the Eagles are 1-6. I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'll go with Baltimore as well.
Now, next we've got the Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Tennessee Titans right now are currently tied for first in the by record they're tied for first in the AFC South, and they're for the point differential they're at plus. And then Kansas City, on the other hand, is in first place, tied with Oakland Raiders at 10-3. The point differential is plus 47. The Kansas City Chiefs at home, are 5-1. And the Tennessee Titans on the road are 3-3. My guess, Kansas City Chiefs beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
Now, the toughie game that I think is going to happen to be this next game that I'm going to be saying is the Detroit Lions, who are first place of the NFC North, against the second place team of the NFC East, which is the New York Giants. Both are 9-4. New York Giants are plus 11 for point differential. The Lions, on the other hand, are plus 27 for point differential. Detroit Lions away are 3-3. The Giants at home are 6-1. I think the Giants are going to take this one.
Did you say that Detroit was on the road?
Yeah, Detroit's on the road.
Yeah, I'm going with New York. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that Detroit can play well like in the. Is it going to be snowing like in New York or?
Let me check that. That may be possible.
Because it is, I'm going like New York either way. I mean.
Well, for today, right now, it's cloudy. Now it's just saying it's going to be rain for tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe bring snow also. But
I'm still going.
I would still
I'm
have to
still
say,
going.
I would still have to say I think New York Giants would probably win that game.
Yeah, I'm still going New York too. So
Next, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. AFC North. Yeah, almost.
all right.
Good thing I caught myself. AFC North rivals. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now are at 8-5 overall with a point differential of plus 61. Cincinnati Bengals, on the other hand, are at -1 for a point differential. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road are 4-3. Cincinnati at home is 3-2-1. Steelers have won 4 straight. Bengals have won 2 straight. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers being the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, why can't you believe that?
Well, both teams have won at least more than one game now. Steelers have been off and on this year. In the conference, they're 6-3, and the Bengals are 4-5. And in the division, the Steelers are only 2-1, and the Bengals are 2-2. That's the reason I say I can't believe that I'm saying that, because Steelers have been off and on this year. They've done well in some games, other games they haven't. The Bengals, I think, could possibly have the number. It's possible. I think the Steelers are just a little bit better.
I'm gonna go maybe a slight. It's gonna be a close game, but I'm gonna go maybe a slight edge to Cincinnati if they get their shit together.
If Cincinnati does get their stuff together, I think it's possible Cincinnati could beat them. I agree with that. I think it's possible. And that's why I said I can't believe I'm saying the Steelers, but I think overall, I think the Steelers just have just a tiny bit of a better team. But we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But I think that will also be a tight game. Now, this is also going to be a tight game, and I think out of all the games, this will be the hardest to predict. Very hard. It's the New Orleans Saints who are 5-8 against the Arizona Cardinals who are 5-7-1. Right now, the Arizona Cardinals are at a point differential plus 22, while the New Orleans Saints are at plus 7. The New Orleans Saints have lost 2 straight. The Cardinals have lost 1 game. The Cardinals right now at home are 4-2-1, and the Saints away are 2-4. That's going to be very hard to predict. Very, very hard to predict. Who would I pick them out? Well, the conference, Cardinals are 4-4-1, and the Saints are 4-5. I'm going to go with the Cardinals being the New Orleans Saints.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I mean, I don't think the Saints have the team that they used to have.
I would agree. I think the Cardinals probably will win that game.
I mean, I think the Saints will be one of those teams that they're trying to rebuild, and then once they get Drew Brees out, they're gonna have a huge hole at quarterback.
That is quite true. Next game is the San Francisco 49ers against the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's going to be an easy guess.
Falcons.
Atlanta. I don't think there's anything else that you could say about that. I think Atlanta, I won't say having the bag, but at home, the thing that is only a little bad about them is they're 3-3 at home. In San Francisco, they're 0-6 on the road and they're only 1-6 at home. So I think the Falcons will win that game. Next game is the Oakland Raiders versus the San Diego Chargers. Oakland, who's 10-3, tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for first place of the AFC West, gets their division rival, the San Diego Chargers, who are 5-8. Right now, the San Diego Chargers are at +3 for point differential, and Oakland's at +38 for point differential. Raiders have lost 1, and the Chargers have lost 2 straight. So, my prediction, I'm betting the Oakland Raiders will beat the San Diego Chargers.
I'm still going with the Raiders. I just still can't believe that they want to take the Chargers to LA.
Yeah, I could sort of see why they're doing that. It makes sense. It means more money for them. And they're trying to do like what New York's done, where New York's got 2 teams, and LA would have 2 teams now playing in one complex. So it makes sense, like what they've done in basketball, the LA Clippers and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm. But so are they going to play in one
what?
stadium? I mean, like if they get approved to move to LA, are they going to like just play in one stadium?
If it would be approved, yeah, they probably would play in one stadium, the same as the Rams.
They're trying to build.
I'm pretty sure that's the reason why the Rams are trying to build that new stadium, is because they want to try to get the Chargers in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do the same thing. It's going to be on the western side, where they're going to have two teams in LA. Do the same thing like what they're doing with New York.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like coast rivals.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the LA Chargers and the LA Rams, and then you've got on the New York side, New York Giants and New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Where they both play the same place, but obviously one team will play at one place and one team will be away on both ends.
And then you have those random matchups where they face each other, and it's like, okay, who's home and who's away?
Well, that's why it depends on the scheduling. But you've got 16 weeks with one bye week, so 15 games overall.
No, it's 16.
17.
It's 17 weeks for the bye week.
Yeah, 17 weeks for the bye week. Pardon me. It's 17 weeks and 16 games overall. So it depends on the scheduling. It depends on, like, if you get first in division, of your own division, you play against all the other first teams in all the divisions of your same conference. Then you've got one on the road and one at home against your own division.
Mm-hmm.
And then you play against a conference or play a division outside of the conference. So, like, let's say the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Play the AFC West.
Like, if the Chiefs would win, they would have at least 2 games against the Raiders, 2 games against the Broncos, 2 games against the Chargers, right? There are 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
Then they face the Texans, which would be 7, Steelers, and the Patriots. So right there is 9 games. Then they play against the NFC. Let's say they play against the NFC North. I don't know if that is who they're going to play next year. But then that would also be 14 games, if I remember right. I just do know that they do have 16 games overall when it comes to the NFL schedule. I'm just trying to remember how it works anyway. So I do remember that fairly well. That I would say it's a little weird for the regular season schedule. Okay, so what would happen is, like, let's say if the Chiefs win.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs would obviously play all the teams in their conference, or I mean, not all the teams in the conference, all the teams in the division, which that would be 6 games. Then they would play, obviously, if they would get first place, they would play 3 games against all the top teams in their conference. So the AFC East, AFC North, and AFC South first place teams would play against the Chiefs. So right there would be 9. Then they would play one division within their conference. So let's say they play against the AFC East next year. That'd be 3 more games. So that'd be 12. And then they would play one division outside of the AFC. So they play either the NFC East, NFC North, NFC South, or NFC West for 4 games. And that would make the 16 game schedule.
Now let's say that both Oakland and KC went out. I mean, then how would they determine who wins the division?
There's a lot of different variables that they've gotten in the NFL determining who will make it in and who won't. Like right now, the Oakland Raiders right now are still probably have a chance of making the playoffs. Actually, both Oakland Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs will still make the playoffs, but the difference between both of them will be the head-to-head win percentage. So whoever has had a winning percentage or has had a better winning percentage, it gets both of them together. Whoever has the games one more, like let's say the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-0 against the Oakland Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Chiefs would actually take the top spot of that division, and the Oakland Raiders would still be playoff bound, but they'd be one of the wild cards.
Okay.
This
So
is based on
let's say like both of them like split like their 2 games. And would it still work the same way?
No, actually, it's going down deeper than that. That's why it's very, when it comes to NFL, all that is very interesting about how the NFL playoffs are determined. There's certain rules and certain variables that have to happen. And that's here's the tiebreaking procedures when it comes to the NFL anyway. Here's the rules to that. NFL tiebreaking procedures. The 6 postseason participants from each conference are seeded as follows. The division champion with the best record. So obviously of both the AFC and NFC. The division champion with the best record is the number 1 seed. The division champion with the second best record, third best record, and fourth best record. Then the wild card club with the best record and the wild card club with the second best record. Now, 2 clubs to break a tie within a division. The first one that and is most commonly used and usually is the one that tends to make the best determination of who will make it in, who won't, is the head-to-head best won-loss tie percentage of games between each club. So the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders, whoever has the best winning percentage will automatically make it in. It's a little bit more different. Like, let's say the tie to be the best won-loss tie percentage of games played within the division. If that doesn't work, it's the best won-loss tie percentage of common games. The best won-loss tie percentage of games played within the conference. And if that doesn't fit, then strength of victory, strength of schedule. If those 2 don't work, then it's the best combined ranking among conference teams in points scored and points allowed. Best combined ranking among all teams in points scored and points allowed. If those 2 don't even work, and you go on farther, best net points in common games, best net points in all games. And if those don't work out either, it's the best net touchdowns in all games. And then at the very end, and this is also with either two clubs or even more. The last variable is just doing a coin toss, and whoever wins that coin toss automatically makes it into the playoffs. Mm. But that's why it's very intriguing how it happens.
It's intriguing, but it can get complicated too.
Yeah, it's a very complicated process. But the reason they do that is because then it shows which team is really the better team that should make it into the playoffs and which team should. And I think that's a great way of doing that. I think that's the reason why I think a lot of people like the NFL playoffs better than probably any of the other organizations. Because they do very well looking into all the different variables when it comes to football. Because there's many different variables that play in football. That's why you can't really say specifically this team is going to win. Because that doesn't always happen that way. Baseball, it's a lot easier to predict of who's going to win. Because obviously they play a 3-game stretch or sometimes 4 games. But you can determine on that. When it comes to NFL, on the other hand, they've got such a short schedule that even sometimes the weakest team, like the Browns right now, they could still potentially win 1 game this year. It still could happen. Will it happen? Maybe not. Maybe so. It just depends. But that's the reason why they have this, to determine what team is the better team and what team isn't.
Now we know the season ends in about 2 weeks. I mean, if the season ended after these set of games, I mean, who would be like in the top 5 as far as the draft?
Well, top 5 as compared to the draft. Well, the number 1 team obviously is the Cleveland Browns. They're 0-13. They would have the first draft pick. Then the next team would be the San Francisco 49ers, Jacksonville Jaguars, then Chicago Bears, and then the St. Louis, well, not St. Louis, the LA Rams.
Man, the Bears be 4. Can I change my pick from the Bears to the Packers so that they lose and they can actually get a quarterback?
I mean, that's okay if you want. If you want to change it, go for it. That's your opinion. Packers still win that anyway.
I mean, I'd like to have the Bears lose out so that way they can get a decent draft pick.
And I can understand that. And going back to talking about that, the next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
And they're 11-2. My prediction, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. And this is on NBC.
I'm going with Dallas. Dallas just looks unstoppable this season.
I think the two teams that are probably the most unstoppable teams this year right now is New England and Dallas. And I think those are the two teams that I think have the best shot of making the Super Bowl. And if you really look at it, from what I've seen, if you really want to consider the top two teams that are America's teams, it's really the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots from what I've seen. But I could be wrong.
I mean, no dispute, even though, he's a rookie, should we give Dak Prescott the MVP?
I think he's a rookie. I think he'll get Rookie of the Year. I think it's very possible.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
MVP, I wouldn't think so. Not yet. He's still a rookie. He's still got time to grow. Do I think he will grow? I actually think he will. I just don't think this is the year yet for him to win MVP yet. I think there's other viable candidates, more veteran players that I think have a better likely chance of winning that. Do I think he could be in the running later on in his career if he plays as well as he's doing this year so far? Yeah, I think he's got a very good shot later on in his career of possibly winning multiple MVPs. But this is his rookie year. I'd say probably the top prestigious award he probably get this year is Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
The MVP, I don't think so.
I don't see that. It'd be a long shot.
I mean, later on, yeah, but right now, this year, there's a lot of good players right now that I think have a good shot at winning MVP. A very good shot. And then, of course, the last game, which is on for Monday Night Football, it's the Carolina Panthers versus the Washington Redskins.
Oh boy, going back to face Josh Norman.
And right now, the Carolina Panthers are 5-8 versus the Washington Redskins are 7-5-1. The Washington Redskins right now the point differential at +13, and the Carolina Panthers right now with the point differential minus 26. Pardon me, not plus, minus 26. Carolina Panthers have won one game. The Washington Redskins have also won one game. In the conference, the Redskins are 5-4. Panthers are 4-5. Carolina Panthers away are 1-5, and the Redskins at home are 4-2. My prediction: Washington Redskins.
And I hate to say this too, but I have to go with Washington. I hate to say that. I'm a Panthers fan.
I understand that.
I mean, what happened to them this season? I mean, did the loss in the Super Bowl really get them that much?
No, I think what really happened is what happened last year in the Super Bowl.
That's what I just asked you.
Well, I think that was the big thing. I think some people going overboard, saying a little too much, saying that they're like Superman or that. I think
that's sort of the worst I've heard. The worst I've heard is, oh, this game's rigged because, white and black. They lost to the better team. Get over it.
I really do think last year the Broncos were the better team because most times in the NFL, defense tends to win championships more often than offense. The reason I picked the Panthers, they did have the best offense that year, and the defense was doing fairly well. But they lost it on Super Bowl day, and I mean it happens. But I wouldn't count out the Panthers I wouldn't count out the Panthers yet. I wouldn't count out Cam Newton yet. But do I see them in the Super Bowl this year? Definitely not. But could I see them possibly making it back in at some point? Maybe.
I mean,
possible.
if they get to 8, if they get to 8-8, that's a winning season.
And I actually would agree with that. Well, I would consider it more average. I want to consider that a winning season. It's a winning season. You got to be 9-8.
Okay. Coming from a diehard fan, like we just had to endure all the.
I know you're a diehard fan, but numbers are numbers. If
I know that.
If you're not above 500, that's an
8 makes 500. I know that. Next up, the MLB Winter Meetings. I gotta say, your Redbirds made out pretty well, I guess.
I'm actually quite surprised the Cardinals signed Dexter Fowler. I'm very surprised by that. Actually makes me quite happy, maybe a St. Louis Cardinals fan. I'm quite impressed with that, but I mean, time will tell what's going to happen with the St. Louis Cardinals. Actually, time will tell with all the teams. Because right now, it's just in the early stages of what could happen with Major League Baseball teams. Baseball is obviously my favorite sport, but I really think the NL is going to be very tough this year. I think the NL is going to be extremely tough this year.
Well, even to boot, they're actually letting him wear like McGuire's number.
I say that's perfectly okay. Let him.
Yeah, that's fine with me too. I mean, you're gonna have your critics on ESPN be like, "Oh, can you live up to the number?" I'm like, really?
Numbers are numbers. The thing is, it depends on the person themselves. If they're willing to work hard, and if they're willing to play hard and build and do all that, I say go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm actually, I know I'm a diehard Cardinals fan, so this is just my opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm actually impressed with what the Cardinals have been doing this offseason with the winter meetings and that. So, I mean, anything could happen. What do you think of, what about your Cubs anyway? What do you think of like Rizzo or Bryant?
Like I said, man, next season, I mean, this year was obviously the year that it happened. I mean, I think while they lost Chapman back to New York, I think they got some pretty solid pieces in Wade Davis and John Jay. But I think the biggest, this is coming from being a former Boston fan, I think the biggest acquisition is having Chris Sale go to the Red Sox.
I would agree with that. I would agree.
You've got David Price, Chris Sale, Clay Buchholz, Rick Porcello. Those are like 4 quality starters.
And I'm quite still surprised how many players have not signed a contract yet with other teams yet. But I think it's possible later on that they could possibly.
All right. So what's going on in basketball land as far as college goes?
Well, in basketball right now, it's been off and on so far this year, with quite a few teams anyway.
Wow, Notre Dame lost again, and damn.
It's because right now Villanova actually is number 1 now at 10-0, and if Villanova keeps playing the way they're playing, it's gonna be hard to beat them. The only team that I think possibly has a chance of maybe beating them is the UCLA Bruins, who are doing really, really well this year. People are saying UCLA has a chance of making the NCAA Basketball Tournament Championship this year. And to be honest, who I think is the greatest college, or for college basketball, the greatest basketball college is UCLA. the great coach of John Wooden.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no other coach better than John Wooden when it comes to basketball.
Not even Coach K?
I mean, out of all basketball coaches, oh yeah, way better than Coach K. I mean, this guy has won 10 NCAA titles. He won 7 consecutive NCAA titles. That is unheard of.
I mean,
no one in the history but John Wooden has done that.
I mean, that's ballsy to put him over like guys like Coach K, Roy Williams, I want to say Jimmy V.
That's how good John Wooden is. He is. Out of all the people, out of all the college basketball coaches I would have loved to meet, that would have been the coach I would have loved to meet. They say he was one of the nicest, very charismatic. He was a great guy to talk to. And guess which? Okay, I'll give you a guess. Guess where he went to college?
I had no idea.
Purdue University.
Oh. Dude.
Yeah, he went to Purdue University. And out of all the coaches that has been named of all time, he is the greatest basketball coach of all time. I mean, there's no one better than him. He won. He won 7 straight NCAA titles, and overall throughout his coaching career, he won 10 throughout his career. I mean, there's no one else better than him. No one.
I mean, speaking of college basketball, real quick, look at these standings. At least for our school, we're 7-4, and we're second in the West. In the West Division,
I think it's possible if Eastern keeps them playing the way they're playing. It's possible they could make the tournament this year, the OVC tournament, and it's also very possible they could actually get an automatic bid in there. But the only way they're going to be able to make it is they have to win the OVC tournament. If they don't win the OVC tournament, they will not make it in, because most of the teams that will get most of the seedings, if they do not win their conference tournaments, the ACC,
Big Ten,
Pac-12, Big Ten, and the SEC. Possibly Big East. I don't think they'll have as many. The American Conference also, but they probably won't have as many. Atlantic 10 probably be I would say out of the Big Four I just said, Atlantic 10 probably have the second most teams. But do I think it's possible Eastern could make the NCAA tournament for men's? It's very well possible.
I mean, if Murray State can do it, they can too.
I'm really glad that Eastern is actually doing very good this year. But they've got to keep it up. Because if they don't keep it up, it's not going to be doing them any favors. Especially if they want to prove a point, that if they want to make it into the NCAA tournament, they've got to make sure to keep it on the long haul for the long goal or the long-term goals. And do I think that they will do it? Time will tell, but I think they've got a really good shot of doing it. And speaking of which, from NCAA men's basketball, I think it would be best also talk about the women's side of things also.
Of course.
Because I've liked women's basketball also. I actually like both women's and men's college basketball, both of them, very much so. Because, of course, UConn has been absolutely dominant now for a long while for women's college basketball. Out of all the teams right now for women's basketball, I think Connecticut is your top team right now. They should be anyway if they're in the rankings. I'm pretty sure they should be the top team in the rankings anyway. Yeah, Connecticut right now is number 1 in both the USA Today Coaches Poll and the AP Top 25. I don't see any other team doing better than them right now, and I think Connecticut could possibly win another championship. And their head coach, what's his name? But I know their head coach has now won more titles than John Wooden has.
Yeah, I mean, and
pretty incredible. But when it comes to the UConn Huskies for women's basketball,
oh yeah,
they're unbelievable. Unbelievable. it's quite outstanding. Just his name's Gino Amarima, and he's been their coach for quite a while for a number of years. And he was also the USA women's national basketball head coach for the Olympics anyway. And he has always done well, and it's just quite outstanding. He's now won 11 NCAA Women's Division I basketball titles now, which is just one more than John Wooden himself, which is surprising that in 2012 he won a John R. Wooden Legends of Coaching Award, which he should win, and he did win, because he's that good of a basketball coach. I've been very impressed with him. If you really want to talk about who the next John Wooden is, it's actually this guy right here, even though it's now on the women's end, not the men's end. But him as a coach, wow, he's something, and I'm very impressed with that. But also with that, let's talk about OVC then for the women's basketball.
Oh, they're 4. Yeah, they're 4-7. They're not doing as well.
I think later on they could possibly get better women again. It's just that time. At least when we went to school, they actually had better, or at least from what I've seen. I've never been to the games themselves yet, but at least by records, the women's teams that when we were there were better than the men's. So if maybe things are changing, but the women's teams are getting a little weaker again, and the men's are doing better. Because I know before I got there, the men's teams were actually doing fairly well. But yeah, right now East Illinois is 4-7. I mean, it's potential. It's a very good potential that maybe they could come back next year. This year, I'd say probably more likely not. And I know they've got things to work on. But I would even tell East Illinois to not give up. I mean, it's usually at Eastern's always happened. When the men's do well, the women don't. When the women do well, the men don't. That's the way it's usually gone on there. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. It happens. You can't win. You can't win at all.
Speaking of turning gears here for a minute, let's see what's next on the docket. Oh yeah, Roadblock's this Sunday.
Oh yeah, WWE Roadblock.
End of the line. Let's see. Kind of run down the card real quick before we make our predictions. We got Big Cass and Rusev.
That's gonna be an interesting match.
Let's see. Ooh, another tag team title match. You got the Raw Tag Team Champions, the New Day, who just broke Demolition's record Monday night after defending the titles twice in 2 triple threat tag team matches, and they take on Cesaro and Sheamus. You can see Cruiserweight triple threat. So Cruiserweight champion, you got Rich Swann versus TJ Perkins and the Brian Kendrick. Let's see. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman, and Zayn must last at least 10 minutes. Wow. Let's see. Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho. The Universal Championship match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. And the Raw Women's Championship match, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, in a 30-minute Iron Woman match.
Well, let's talk about the first one, which I'm pretty sure will be first on the pay-per-view, which will be Big Cass versus Rusev. Oh, that's going to be hard to predict, just from the way they've been writing stuff. But from the way I'm looking at it, I think Big Cass is going to be Rusev. From the way they've been writing.
And the way they've been writing, they want to put Rusev over. So I'm going to go with Rusev. I mean, I think this is more of a bathroom break match.
I think it's going to be obviously the first match anyway, so I could actually see also Rusev. I know I haven't watched WWE as of late, but I know Rusev is one of their big guys right now that they're wanting to push for the company, so it's possible.
I don't know why they haven't pushed him to the main event yet.
Me neither. But yeah, I think Rusev is going to be Big Cass. I would agree with that.
Let's see. Next up, we got the New Day defending their tag team titles against Cesaro and Sheamus. Is it time for them to lose the belts now? Or do we wait?
I would actually say I think this is the time. I think Cesaro and Sheamus, just from the way they've been showing what's been going on, I think Cesaro and Sheamus is going to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Cesaro and Sheamus are big superstars right now. I mean, if you really want to talk about who I think has best chance of winning the titles, it's probably them. I think the New Day's title reign is about coming to an end. If it's not this pay-per-view, it'll be the next one. But I'd say it probably will be this one. Cesaro and Sheamus, I think, will win it.
It'd kind of be ironic, Roadblock end of the line and the New Day loses the belts right after they break the record. But I don't know. I'm actually predicting either new tag team champions or the New Day finds some BS way to hold on to the belt like a DQ or whatever.
I think there'll be new tag team champions.
Maybe we gotta have at least one title change.
I think it'll be Cesaro and Sheamus.
Let's see.
That's what I'm thinking.
Let's see. Up next, the Cruiserweight Champion, Rich Swann defending his belt against T.J. Perkins and the Brian Kendrick.
It'll be Rich Swann. The way they've been writing for him, it's going to be Rich Swann. It'll be a while before T.J. Perkins or the Brian Kendrick gets the WWE Cruiserweight title back.
I don't think they gave it to Kendrick like in the first place. I mean, he's good, no doubt, but
well, technically, he's actually a former WWE superstar that came back.
Oh yeah.
And is now in the Cruiserweight division.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they've got Rich Swann written, or at least the way they've got him written for Raw on that, I think Rich Swann is going to take that match and retain the title.
Okay, next up. Okay, I'm going to actually agree with you there. Next up, it's actually going to be two predictions. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Now, you got to predict who wins and predict if he'll actually last 10 minutes.
For the way they've been writing it, for this 10-minute time limit, and knowing how most matches go when it comes to big men, I think Sami Zayn's going to win this. And the question is, will he last 10 minutes? Yeah, I think Sami Zayn will last the 10 minutes.
No, I think I want to say it was that final Raw before Roadblock. I think they were saying they were going to trade him for Eva Marie, and that just got him so lit. Got his fire lit so bad. It's like, I want Braun Strowman. I want Braun Strowman. It's like, and then Foley's like, you got him. So, I want to say, oh boy, I'm going to say he lasts the 10 minutes, but he doesn't win the match.
You don't think Sami Zayn will win the match?
I don't know. I mean, I want to see him actually go and maybe go for a mid-card title. Let's say he does win the match. I want to say he go for a mid-card title.
Just knowing him, how popular the superstar is on Raw, I think he could do both. I really think he could do both. Just from the way they've written him and how much of fire he is as a superstar right now. I think it's very possible he could.
Okay. Next. All right. Next is Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho.
I think we know who's going to win this one. I think both of us know who's going to win this one.
What, Jericho?
No, Seth Rollins.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins will win that one.
Kind of stop screwing Rollins over. And let's see, how many times has Jericho gotten his nose involved in Rollins title matches? I mean,
lots.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason why I'm pretty sure why it's called Roadblock, the end of the line.
Yeah.
I think Seth Rollins could probably put the end of the line when it comes to Chris Jericho.
I mean, I think that they give Rollins this match, and they kind of start building towards him and Triple H.
Exactly. I think that's exactly the way it's going down. I agree with you on that. I think that's the reason why they have Seth Rollins win. And then I think that's how it's going to go down. I could see that happen.
Let's see. I'm gonna go kind of in reverse order because I'm gonna save this one for last. Let's see. The Universal Championship match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns.
That's gonna be interesting. Well, when it comes to the Universal title, I think Kevin Owens is going to retain. I think it's going to be. I think the way that the rights would be close. I think Kevin Owens is going to do a snake move or snake attack, and Kevin Owens is just going to barely win, just barely, and everyone's going to boom like they've been doing for a long while now. He's go, I won, because if you saw Raw, he said that Roman Reigns pushed him to Chris Jericho, and that didn't even happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Owens actually pushed Jericho, but of course he's saying, "Well, I didn't push him." I think Reigns is going to lose at least on this pay-per-view, but they're going to make it look it's going to be close. I think Kevin Owens is going to retain it. It's going to be a very close match.
I'm gonna say Owens retains, but not clean.
That's what I'm saying.
Jericho's
That's why I
gonna
think
get
it's going to
involved
be close.
somehow.
It's not going to be clean. He's gonna do something dirty to make him to have him retain the title.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Last match of this is what I think should main event. Should actually close out the show and main event. Raw Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and Charlotte in a 30-minute Iron Woman. Oh, I say Iron Woman, but it's an Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Basically,
let's just say Iron Woman match because it's two women facing each other.
Okay, so first off, how many falls you think each will get, and basically who's gonna win?
How many falls? Jeez.
Or could we do like a WrestleMania 12 kind of thing where it goes like 0-0 and then we go to overtime?
I think it's gonna be like what it was in Judgment Day with The Rock versus Triple H. I think it's gonna be back and forth. But I think the difference this time is that I don't think Charlotte Flair is gonna try to cheat, but I think her dad's gonna be there and it's gonna help Sasha Banks win. Unlike with Vince McMahon where he tried to help Triple H win and cheat, I think this time they're gonna actually try to help Sasha Banks win. So I think it's gonna be tied 3-3, and at the end it'll be 4-3. Sasha Banks over Charlotte Flair. Sasha Banks retains title.
I say they tie for like most of the match, and then like the last minute, Ric Flair like struts his way slowly to the ring, and then just when you think he's about to reunite with Charlotte, bang! Ric Flair does what Ric Flair does.
Exactly. I think Sasha Banks is going to retain the title. I think the only title that's going to change is the tag team titles. But I mean, that's just my opinion.
My opinion too. But do you think the women's match should main event again? I mean, granted, I don't think the Hell in a Cell match was terrible, but
I think let's give them time. I think if you think it wasn't terrible, I'd say let them have the main event again. I'd say go for it. I know WWE's trying to do some stuff different now to try to get more people interested into the product again. I say do it.
But if they put this in like the middle of the card, it's gonna get lost.
Exactly, and I think that's the match that should end it. Is that match right there, the Raw Women's title? But that's my opinion anyway. I mean, I'm actually the one they're bringing in now. I'm very impressed with most of the ones they're bringing in. Even the newer people also. I'm very impressed with all the people they're bringing in. It's really, really neat to watch. I think it's really cool.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh boy. And then our main topic of the night, man, wrestling memories and how we both got into wrestling. So before we start, I'm gonna take a little intermission. So be right back.
All right.
All right, we're back. All right, we're back, everybody. So, I guess I gotta ask you first. I mean, how'd you first get into wrestling?
Actually, how I got interested into wrestling was that I just watched. It was actually my very first match I ever watched, and it was the very first Inferno match between Undertaker and Kane. That's what got me interested into wrestling, and I have not stopped watching that since then. And I really think if it was for those two characters, I don't think I ever would have gotten into wrestling if it was for those two characters. And even though my favorite wrestling memories are not of those two, that was my first match, but that's what got me into it. But probably my greatest memory is obviously The Rock. When The Rock took down Vince McMahon. I always loved the Attitude Era days when The Rock would always come out and shock Vince McMahon, and Vince is going, oh, great. Here comes The Rock coming out again. What is he going to do next?
I mean, I have to say, I first started getting serious. Probably be around the Attitude Era. That's kind of when I first realized, oh boy, I'm a wrestling fan. I mean, just seeing the die call out of me between Austin and McMahon every week, seeing what he would do to McMahon every week, he'd be like, this kept me tuning in. And no, I was not. And before I kind of continue, were you one of those channel flippers during the Attitude Era where it's like, I gotta watch Nitro, now I gotta watch Raw, now I gotta watch Nitro.
Yep. Oh, I love doing that going back. Actually, I was sort of disappointed when they finally took Nitro off air because I used to go back and forth to see what would happen. Obviously, you and I were part of that era. I would flip back and forth, but I'd say that the company I would watch more often was WWE. It was just something about when they finally decided to go on the hardcore end. They finally decided that's when I think people finally decided to stay on with WWE instead of WCW. That's why everyone loved that. Because the wrestlers could finally be themselves.
Oh yeah, I think, but going back, I remember, going back, going to the video store, renting all the tapes, watching all these old WrestleManias from back in the day when VHS was still cool. And then I started collecting the DVDs, which I still have in my shelf. I just don't either have space or I don't have. It's not that I don't have space. It's just I haven't had the WWE hasn't given me an excuse to start buying DVDs again. Even though I want to get there's one I want to get that's about the Royal Rumble, which is coming up here in a month. It's like the history of the Royal Rumble or whatever, but no. One of the first memories I had was watching WrestleMania 12.
Oh yeah,
and WrestleMania 12. Yeah, and I don't know if my brother taped it or whatever, but yeah, I want to say he taped it, and I think the one thing that really got me into it outside of the Iron Man match was that backlot brawl. That was some funny.
Oh yeah. Actually, if you want to talk about what the funniest thing of all, what my favorite memory of WWE wrestling back in the Attitude Era was, This Is Your Life with The Rock and Mankind.
Oh yeah.
When Mankind actually talking about The Rock, and of course the coach comes out, the old teacher, and then of course his former ex-girlfriend.
Tang your ass on out of here.
That was hysterical. I love that. And everyone's going, oh! But that was funny.
Actually, one memory that stands out actually involves you. I mean, I think I met you right around like 2009. I was interviewing you for a story, and then it's like, okay, this dude's cool. And then we was like that next WrestleMania. No, wait, it was WrestleMania 26. We were all watching in Forrest's dorm room. In Forrest's dorm room. It's like, okay, this Grant dude's cool.
Oh, especially when it came to Undertaker. I mean, who else was bigger than WrestleMania? Undertaker.
Oh, no.
Every match, you knew when the Undertaker was in, you knew that was a spectacle to watch. WrestleMania 26, HBK versus the Dead.
Oh, boy.
And we all knew who was going to win that one. It was the Undertaker.
Mm. I mean, you think Shawn Michaels will come out of retirement to face AJ Styles?
Say that one again.
I mean, you think HBK will come out of retirement to face AJ Styles?
Maybe, maybe not.
I mean, I think he's the only dude that I know of here in the past 10 years or so that's actually kept to his retirement promise, unlike Flair, who went to TNA.
HBK coming out of retirement, I don't see that happening. I don't think HBK wants to do. I mean, I think he loves to visit now, just hang out and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Him actually wrestling, I don't think he wants to put his body through that anymore. I think he feels like he actually is done with that, actually wrestling. When it comes to recruiting talent, I think he may do that still, because I know him, Triple H, Paul Levesque, and Austin Mark Calloway, Undertaker. Those three actually are pretty good friends in real life, and they actually do go out and watch other wrestling organizations to see what talent is good to come into WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And come wrestle to be with that company. But I just don't see Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement today. I just don't see that.
I don't see it either. I mean, I don't think.
I mean, anything could happen, but I don't think that's a dream match the WWE fans want to see. Now, a dream match, I think two dream matches the WWE would like to see is either John Cena versus Undertaker or Sting versus Undertaker.
I think Sting recently said that might not even happen.
I could see that. I could see and agree with Sting why that may not happen either. Actually, a match that I think would be neat to see anyway, maybe be a dream match, is the two streaks. One of the streak of WCW, all the of what Goldberg won of all his matches versus the WrestleMania streak of Undertaker. I think that would be an awesome match, but you do have very two differentiating wrestling styles.
I think it's going to be Goldberg Lesnar 3 at WrestleMania. I mean, Lesnar's going to screw him out of the Royal Rumble somehow. I mean, I think Lesnar Cena is going to has a better chance of happening, even though I guess Cena says he's done as a full-time wrestler.
I can see that. It's time to put in some of the younger stars as being the next big thing. Cena's there now is mainly more of I wouldn't say exactly a part-timer yet, but he's not really a full-timer either. He's more like an alumni, the celebrity wing. He's going to be like the next Rock, I would say. But he's going to be the next celebrity wrestler. He's
like the Jericho where he puts over talent.
Yeah, I think he's going to start putting over talent instead of just saying it's always about him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a good thing anyway.
I mean, I don't know. I still think they should give him a 6 hit. At least let him tie Flair. Don't let him beat him. Just let him tie him.
But from the way it's looking like, at WrestleMania 33, I could see Goldberg versus Undertaker. I mean, that would be, I think, an awesome match. You have the two streaks going against each other. Which streak will survive?
I mean, we'll see how it plays out with the Royal Rumble and stuff here in a month, but...
So I think what happens, I think you're right. I think Brock Lesnar is going to screw Goldberg, and it's going to be Goldberg versus Undertaker.
You mean Goldberg Lesnar?
Yeah, well, Goldberg and Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. I think Lesnar's going to screw Goldberg in the Royal Rumble. And I think that's what's going to make the storyline between Goldberg versus Undertaker. Because Goldberg can beat Brock Lesnar. 2-0. Goldberg would screw him at least one time, but then Undertaker's been screwed a lot of times by Brock Lesnar. So Goldberg has beaten Brock Lesnar. Then you would have at least the big WCW star versus the big WWE superstar. And I think that would be a perfect way to end Undertaker's career, is the streak. I remember even him saying that WrestleMania is not going to be Undertaker's known for anymore. I think that's the way they're trying to write it up, is that it'll be Goldberg versus Undertaker WrestleMania. I think that would be a perfect way to end his career. Guys that had the two biggest streaks, obviously the one winning as many matches in WCW when it comes to pay-per-views and Monday Night Nitro, versus the WrestleMania streak. Which streak is the better streak?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm still trying to be somewhat realistic and pull for John Cena versus The Undertaker for the belt. I think that's the more logical way to go. You know, give Cena his title.
Maybe logical, but you gotta look at the storylining. I don't think it's gonna fit that well. I mean, I could be wrong, but
yeah, I mean, granted, there's like a lot of time between now and WrestleMania, and even between the Rumble and WrestleMania, there's a lot of time for plans to change.
But I think the thing is, when it comes to Undertaker and Goldberg really didn't have a proper retirement match. I think this is the way both of these guys would be able to go. And I think the guy probably will win the match. And Undertaker's going to finally retire, but then Goldberg retire at the same time.
I mean, if you were going to do Undertaker's thing, it should have happened last year.
Yeah. And I think that's the reason we're going to have Goldberg against Undertaker. Because Goldberg really is he's the light of WCW. Even though WCW is folded, but if you talk about who the light is of WCW, it's Goldberg.
But, I mean, you got anything else to share? I mean,
it's just the last thing I probably will have to share is it's going to be interesting to see how WrestleMania is going to be played and how the card is going to be made up. I think there could be a lot of good potential matches, and I think it's going to be very, very hard for WWE to get the best matches set up for that. There's a lot of good storyline going on right now, and I think they're getting better again. So I think, and with them bringing in more talent on that, it's going to be interesting to see who they have for those matches.
I mean, it's just surprised me I haven't heard anything from, like, I don't know, like when Finn Balor's going to return and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So keeping that under wraps. I mean, early prediction, I think he's the number 30 guy.
Who do you think's the number 30 guy?
Finn Balor.
I can see that happening, actually.
Now, does he win it? I don't know. I mean, that will leave up for a Rumble show.
I could see him winning it. He lost the Universal title when he became the first Universal title winner, and they said he was injured. I did not.
He lost it because he wasn't pinned, didn't submit. He just lost because of injury.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for him because he was doing a great job. And I really think if you talk about the next big character wrestler, it's him. I think Finn Balor is sort of the next Sting, the next Undertaker.
Oh,
I think that's the guy that's going to be the big money maker for them. It's him.
Oh, I could see him doing that, especially with his demon entrances and stuff. Being able to play mind games with his opponents.
I really think he's the next big name for WWE. So it's going to be great to see him back. I just wonder how they're going to be portraying him as, and how if he's going to use the same theme music, if he's going to wear the same makeup in that, or if he's going to look completely different. And the last thing I've got to that I would like to share is I just wonder what Undertaker's costume is going to look like for when he comes out for WrestleMania 33. Because the rumor is that this could possibly be his last WrestleMania match, his last match of all. I know people can say year after year, but it's really interesting for Undertaker to say that WrestleMania is not going to be, which makes you think and wonder. Maybe he is retiring this year, or this coming WrestleMania.
I mean, I think over time the streak just got too much for him. He was just like, okay, please, somebody just end this. Just let this end, please.
Well, I think he's about ready to say that he wants to retire, and I think the perfect way to really end it. I mean, logically, yes, John Cena would be the better fit for a title versus title. But I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. Because I think what's going to happen is that both the Universal title and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. So obviously someone from so whoever wins the Royal Rumble will either go against the title winner or the WWE World Heavyweight title winner. Then whoever that Royal Rumble chooses, then it'll be either someone from SmackDown for the World Heavyweight title or someone from Raw for the Universal title. So I can see actually, and to be honest, I think what's going to happen is Finn Balor will probably come back to the Royal Rumble. I think you're right. I think he'll be the 30th guy in, and he's going to go against Kevin Owens for the Universal title and then for the World Heavyweight title.
I can see that. I can actually see that making sense.
And for the WWE World Heavyweight title, I'm pretty sure it's AJ Styles still the World Heavyweight title or WWE World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, he's still champion.
I think AJ Styles will probably face someone on SmackDown anyway. And actually, what I think is what could happen is I think Shawn Michaels says AJ Styles what could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I think it could happen at Royal Rumble if I think that could happen if the way it's written, if he drops the title. But I think what's going to happen is it could be John Cena. It could be, from rumors are, it could be either Dolph Ziggler against him at WrestleMania, or it could also be John Cena versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And I think the better choice is probably John Cena versus AJ Styles.
I mean, not taking anything away from Dolph Ziggler, but you got WrestleMania, you got a franchise player like John Cena who knows how to sell out seats, put butts in seats, and make money basically against a phenomenal talent like AJ Styles.
And I think that would be a great way for that title to go, is AJ Styles versus John Cena. But that's my opinion, and that's why I think it could be Undertaker versus Goldberg.
I mean, preliminary, if Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg 3 doesn't happen, it'll probably end up being Undertaker versus Goldberg and then Cena versus Styles for the belts.
Because the way at least what's going down, I think it's going to be if Shawn Michaels would come out of retirement, he'll probably face him at Royal Rumble.
Isn't the Royal Rumble this year like in his hometown?
Whose hometown?
HBK's.
I'm pretty sure that's right. I'll get to check Royal Rumble 2017. I'm pretty sure that is right, that it's in San Antonio. Yes, it's in San Antonio, Texas. So yeah. I think that can happen. That Shawn Michaels may come out of retirement just for a one-time thing where he faces AJ Styles. Obviously, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg will be in the Royal Rumble, so I think that would be the best way for Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement for just a little while, to have him wrestle against AJ Styles, either for the title or heck, AJ Styles could possibly lose the title for a little bit, and then get it back at some point later on before WrestleMania 33.
Mm-hmm. No.
But that's just my opinion.
I think my last thought would be, let's see, Samoa Joe or Shinsuke Nakamura, who gets promoted to the main roster first?
I'd say Nakamura probably.
You know he's still NXT champion. Do you think he drops it?
Most of the guys that have had an NXT title usually tend to drop it, and then they tend to go up to WWE. So I'd say Nakamura will probably be the next one heading into WWE for either Raw or SmackDown. I don't think Samoa Joe just may be a jobber is what I think he is. I don't think Samoa Joe. I think this next time around, if Samoa Joe would win the title, I think he'll be the next in line to go up into the WWE.
I mean, I think a Rumble debut for Joe wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'd say at least to give him a start of what's going to go to WWE, I think Royal Rumble would be a great fit for him to at least get him to understand what it's like being in WWE, being the big thing for that. But do I see him being a full-fledged, I'd say big-time WWE superstar for WWE yet? I would say not quite yet. Even though he's had a lot of experience, he's actually been in the WWE before, but as a jobber. Then he went to TNA for quite a long time. Now he's back to the WWE, and it's possible that you could see him in on Raw or SmackDown. But I'd say right now, Shinsuke Nakamura will probably be the next guy to go up.
So who does he drop the belt to if he goes up?
I'd say Samoa Joe will probably be the guy he'll drop it to.
Okay.
And then I think whoever Samoa Joe faces, he'll be the next guy in line probably to head to the WWE, whoever they decide to put in as the next champion for next after Samoa Joe.
Fair enough. I mean, if you don't have any final thoughts, I don't have any final thoughts. This has been the Full Count with your host, Jose and Grant, and we will see you guys in 3 weeks with our Royal Rumble show.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys in 3 weeks. Have a happy holidays, guys.